Hello you guys, welcome back to a brand new YouTube video. Today I will be showing you guys how to build this Saiyan Saga diorama. Alright, so right here on the table there's some stuff that you will need for this specific diorama. I'm going to be using this hot wire foam cutter, 2 blades, 1 X-Acto knife, 1 box cutter like, an airbrush. An airbrush is a necessity for this one, a hot glue gun, paint brushes, pencil, and then these are the paints that I use. This is antique gold as a base coat, or you can go with like a beige color. And then for airbrushing, I'm using these basic skin tones. They're Vallejo model colors, and then we have an orange and like a dark red. This is the glue I use. You're gonna need like a varnish, a sealer, static grass, and some bushes. And of course you're gonna need the XPS foam. You could find this at Home Depot or Lowe's. All the other stuff like the paints, the glues, hot glue gun, you could find that at Hobby Lobby or on Amazon. But first things first, you're gonna need your XPS foam. Like I said, you can buy this at Home Depot or Lowe's. You're going to start off by measuring it. This one's going to be 14 by 12. This is going to be for an IKEA detolf display. This one will be available after I finish it. I'll be posting it on the website. But yeah, let's get right into it. So yeah, we're basically going to recreate the iconic final battle with Goku against Vegeta. I'll be putting pictures on here on the screen for you guys. We're basically redoing a dial that I did in the past. So yeah, let's get right into it. Alright, so for this dial we're going to have 2 layers. As you can see, I did cut it with the wire cutter. Please make sure you use a mask when using the hot wire cutter. But yeah, let's get to the next step. Alright, so the next thing is you're going to either grab 1-inch foam or 2-inch foam, and you're going to cut them into a 4x4 square. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll get back to you guys. Alright, so now that you have your 4x4s, you're going to hot glue them together like that, so you get like a larger pillar. And then it also doesn't matter about these little things, you're going to cut them off and eventually get rid of them. Alright, so now you're basically just going to glue the bottom of each one. Make sure you put enough glue, and then you're going to glue it on top. And then what I do usually is I grab a weight. I have this weight, it's just 7 pounds, and I just let it be on top of the thing so I don't have to put pressure, and then I just wait for it to dry. Alright, so I think carving might be the most difficult part of the whole process, just because it involves time, patience. I'm going to be doing like a little time lapse of it while explaining and slowing down a few parts to show you guys. But the first thing, we'll be doing the boulders, and then we'll be doing the base. So for this part, what I like to do is basically cut off all the corners. I'll show you guys with the pencil. Basically, we're going to do like a circle/oval type. But while doing that, we're also going to be incorporating like the natural structure of the boulder. I'll show you guys like what I mean, like the curve of like the rock and the formation. And then we'll also be adding texture and stuff like that, but that'll be after it's done being carved. Alright, so when you're done cutting them, you're gonna have something like this. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just like the base of the whole boulders. and you're gonna have like a way bigger mess than this. Just make sure you throw it away. All right, and for this part, you're gonna need like a pen or a pencil. It doesn't matter. I like to use a pen just because it's darker. And what you're gonna do is basically draw the lines that you want to cut. You can either draw them or you can freehand them. I like to draw them just because it gives you an idea of what I gotta cut. We're gonna do like the standard size for the Saiyan Saga, so they're gonna be like longer ones. So yeah, you just want to draw them out. Alright, then when you have that, you're gonna have something like this. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. You're gonna start carving this. Be time-lapsing this to show you guys like a faster way to do it. So you're basically gonna be doing this to the whole thing. But yeah, I'll show you guys what it looks like after. Alright, now that you have that cut out, it's gonna look super messy like this. But now you're gonna start carving the outside of the rock to give it that shape that you want. I'm gonna duplicate this to the other one, do the same thing, and yeah, I'll show you guys a little demonstration of it, but then I'm gonna time lapse it. And make sure in this part when you're doing it, you're taking your time. This part's gonna take a really long time if you want it to look as good as this picture right here. It's gonna take a while. Make sure when you're cutting the rock that you cut all these little corners out, and then so make sure you cut all the corners like these pointy pieces, just because they don't look good and compared to like the finished product. Alright, so now I'm just gonna do the rest and I'll see you guys. Alright, so now that you have this one cut out, you're gonna do this to this one. So basically you just round out all the rocks and you just copy and paste it. Alright, so now you should have both of them looking like this. And now we're gonna be adding details to the rocks. Alright, so now basically what you're gonna do is give it little cracks like that. You're gonna be carving little cracks into it to give it more of a realism look. You guys should be having. Right now that we have these little cracks in them, we're gonna be texturizing it with a rock or a piece of tin foil. Basically all you have to do is put pressure against the foam and then it should give it that rock like texture. Now what we did to this, we're going to be doing to this one. Now that we have these done and texturized, we're going to move on to the base. And now we can finally begin on cutting this. Basically what you want to do is just follow along with like either like the design you put on it, or you can freehand it like I said before. I like to freehand it just because it's easier for me. But yeah, we're going to start carving this. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that to the whole base. But yeah, now we have this first one done. Add a little bit of cracks, just like the boulders. Now we're gonna move on to this one. Alright, so when you're done carving everything, you should have something like this with the base all textured. Added some cracks, textured the front, and then finish the sides if you want to. You don't have to do the sides if you don't want to, but I do them just because it looks better. And yeah, you should also have these two done, textured, carved, and everything. And yeah, me personally, I'm gonna be adding this extra part just to give it another layer. But yeah, I'll add that real quick. Alright, now that we have that final layer added, it is almost done. We have the base with the two boulders. Now we're going to begin adding the final touches. When I did add this personal logo, shout out to Figures Diorama for designing it for me. Shout out to you, bro. Alright, now I'll be adding these adapters for the Tamashi stands. This type of stand right here. Yeah, I'd add a couple of these into the diorama. Shout out to JP Dioramas for this design. If you guys like any of these, you guys can just message me over on Instagram and I'll hit you guys up. Alright, so now that we have this thing done, now the next step is going to be to burn all the unwanted little parts. And for that, like for example, just burn these little pieces that are in between the cracks. And for that, I'm going to be using this hot iron tool. Alright, so you just go in between the cracks and just carefully burn off the unwanted parts. By the way, make sure when you have this tool, make sure you wear a mask, because as you can see, there's a little smoke coming out. That's just the fumes of the foam. Okay, we're going to do that to the whole piece, and I'll see you guys after that. Alright, so when you're done with all that, you should pretty much have this. You should have everything carved, added texture, and burnt off the unwanted little fuzzy spots. And if you got adapters, put in the adapters. So yeah, now we're going to be moving on to painting. Alright, so for the first base coat, I like to go with this antique gold. This is going to be a base coat. I do like to go with lighter colors as a base coat, especially for like the brighter dioramas. Alright, for the airbrush colors, I use these three Vallejo. There's basic, medium, and dark skin tone. These are pretty much the ones I use for the Saiyan Sagas. And then for the shades, I like to go, the final one would be this orange one. Like the final one before I go on to the dark ones is this orange game color one. And then there's a flat earth and the chocolate brown. These two are going to be super lightly, so these are optional if you want to. This is going to add a little bit of shading at the end. Alright, so for painting, I like to keep this mat a little clean. But as you can see, it's a little dirty on these sides just because, you know, paint happens. But I like to use a piece of cardboard or some newspaper. I've been using this little piece of cardboard for a while, as you can see. But that's basically what I use just to keep the desk clean. Alright, so we're going to start with this one. You can use whatever type of brush you want. I'm going to just use this one. Alright, so now that we have it painted, we're going to be moving on to the airbrushing. Alright, so we're going to be starting with this basic skin tone. Like I said, this is Vallejo. You're going to be pouring a little bit into a cup, but I like to use this since it's going to go into the airbrush. You're going to thin down the paint because this paint is too thick to be sprayed from here. So you gotta thin out that paint. You can either thin it out with water or thinner. Then once you have your paint inside your little cup, then you're gonna start spraying lightly over the diorama. Right here, you just basically want to highlight the surface. Alright, so as you can see, now that you painted like the first airbrush layer, you can see that it's still darker in some spots, and that's what we want to get. We want to give it like color depth. And then you're gonna let that dry for a bit, and then we're gonna move on to the next coat. By the way, those who ask, I'm using the Neo for Iwata airbrush. You can get this at Hobby Lobby. This one cost around $65, I believe. I've used it for a while. Highly recommend it. Yeah. By the way, those who don't have an airbrush, I recommend going with like a beige color. Do like 2 to 3 base coats of this, so you could skip like the airbrush process, and then move on to dry brushing. Right, then after that, I'm going to be moving on to the medium flesh tone, which is this one. Alright, so for this one, you're basically going to be adding shading to the diorama. Alright, and then after that, as you can see, there's a little bit more color contrast, a little bit more shading. Now we're going to do that again, but with the dark flesh color, which would be this one. So you're going to repeat that same airbrush step, and then you're going to get the dark color. Alright, now you should have something like this. There's a little bit more contrast in the diorama itself, also along with the boulders. So once you've mixed these three, it should give you a color like this. You should have something similar to this. And now we're going to be using this orange to add the darker shading to this diorama. So you should have something like that. Doesn't have to be too dark. Make sure when you're adding this last part of shading, make sure you go super light on it and you go a little bit farther back. Alright, now that you're done with the orange, this is almost the final part. This is what you should have by then. It should be a shade of orange. You should be having like almost all the colors should be popping out. Also with the boulders. Now we're going to be adding the final stage of shading. Alright, now for the final shading color, I'll be using this whole red. It's called, this one's going to be a super light color. It's just going to redefine all the dark spots, like where like the shade goes and stuff like that, but it's a super light coat of this. So like I said, this is going to be a super light coat. It's just going to be for the shadows. Alright, so I'm going to do the whole diorama and I'll get back to you guys. Here's the difference in shading. Alright, so after all that, this is something you should have. That should be done. Also, the boulder should be shaded and complete. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to add a little bit of grass on the sides. And then after that, we're going to seal it with matte varnish. Alright, so I'm going to be using this static grass. This is one I have extra, but the ones I usually get are these little grass bags. Find these on AliExpress or Amazon. I usually buy them from AliExpress just because they're cheaper. But yeah, you either want to get 3mm or there's a 5mm bag. But I usually get the 3mm one. Got these artificial like bushes. Also got these fake plants that I got on Amazon. Alright, so for the glue that I use is this clear gel tacky glue. You can find this at Walmart, or the other one that I use is this Elmer's clear transparent glue. But yeah, you can find those at Walmart or Amazon. Alright, so the static applicator that I have here is this one. I bought this one on Amazon. It was around $60-$70. There are cheaper options, like there's a $20 one that I started with. I'll put a picture here. You can definitely get that one and begin with that one. And by all means, you don't actually have to use a static applicator. You can just use your hands and just sprinkle it all over the diorama itself. Alright, so my phone had died, so I apologize for that. But we finished adding all the greenery to the diorama. We added bushes to the boulders, both of them, and then we added here. Finished adding the plants and stuff. Yeah, after you add the grass, what I like to do is I like to spray a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, and also do a spray of this Mod Podge sealer just to the grass and the bushes and stuff, just so they can stay in place. Alright, so here's the final tile. But apart from that, I wanted to show you guys something. So these guys came in the mail today. I'm really excited. So yeah, we'll probably mix this in with like a review / posing video. So for the first one, it's this one, the KaioKen with the red energy stuff. This is the box, if you guys want to know. I think it's Wow Super Action Studios, something like that. So here you get extra face, I guess, and extra peg for some reason, I don't know. Alright, so here's the figure. Looks pretty clean in person. I think he looks a little bit brighter in person than here on camera. That's what he looks like. Pretty clean for a third-party figure. I've been really enjoying all the third-party releases that they've been doing. That's going to be a great addition to the collection. And then here's the other one. And then same thing with him. He comes with the extra faceplate, and yeah, I think he looks pretty clean as well. The head sculpts are actually pretty decent. It doesn't have as much shading as the other ones, but it's all good. His head is what threw me off a bit because it's like inverted. The spikes are usually like this. I guess that's how it is. But yeah, overall I think they're pretty good releases, and I think they're like 50 each. I got these off Hobby Model store on Instagram. Oh yeah, go check them out. Pretty clean. They come basically with the same thing, with an extra set of faces, pants, gloves, stuff like that. But the things I really like is this like where he punches him, like this picture right here. He punches Vegeta, and he also comes with the punching arm. This isn't articulated or anything, but I think it's pretty cool that they added this. And then the other one came, you know, with this head, and he also came with this hand effect thing. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I'll be displaying them. Alright, I also do want to do a quick announcement on here. I'm currently working on these aura effects that I designed myself. I have a few versions of them so far. I have this opened one, this one with like the little spikes right there. Then I have this one with like a base. I'm currently working on adding like an adapter on there. So it could be like a powering up aura. But yeah, I just want to announce that. I'm gonna go along with the KaioKen right there. But yeah, that's currently a work in progress. I am also working on small AOT houses for the Amazing Yamaguchi figures. So that's also another thing. There's going to be a set of 12. And they're going to be $35 each. If anyone is interested, just check the link in the bio for the store. But yeah. Alright, so here's the final product of the diorama itself. Here's the base itself. It should be carved, shaded, and everything. We should also have the boulders completed, as you can see. Like I said before, this will be available for one of you guys. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and if you guys got any tips for me or anything, comment them down below. Any questions, comment them or DM me. Alright, you guys, so that is basically it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please let me know what you guys think of the video. If you guys have any recommendations on like the quality or like the quality of the mic and stuff like that you guys recommend. And also, if you guys have any comments, comment them down below. Message me on Instagram. Like I said, this diorama will be available in the link in the description, along with those auras, the finalized product. I will be having a couple different versions, as you saw. But yeah, this is pretty much it for like the tutorial and like the little review of the KaioKen Goku. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and again, let me know what I can improve and what other diorama do you like to see in the future.